Welcome back to BBPN, where we cover the Blood Bowl that no one else will. So Season 10 is finally here, but just in case you were clubbed overhead by an ogre and put into his crockpot and you just recently escaped, this is what happened at the tail end of Season 9. Storn's Chaos Dwarves Don't Funk With My Heart fought all the way to the finals and won it. Congrats to him. And on top of that, 2 kills and 1 cup, won the NATTS Bracket Challenge. Congrats to them both. But that's last season, this is this season, and time for a new season of BBPN and Blood Bowl. So, for a new season of BBPN, we have a couple positions changes on the staff. Panda gets a promotion and gets out of that dusty corner and gets to cover the MTC. Scar moves to the CDT, but VGP is still covered by Callisti and Ace still covers the Kord division. Now you might be asking me, but Cadet, what are we going to do about Panda's corner? Well, for right now, Kord is occupying it, and we can't do anything with Panda's corner until we get Kord into the proper old folks home. So until then, nothing we can do. So as you know, this episode of BBPN is going to be exceptionally long because it's the start, and we always want to cover all the teams accurately at the start of the season. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the show on the road with Callisti and the VGP division.
Hello and welcome to what promises to be yet another thrilling installment of action from week 1 of season 10 NATTS League VGP Division. I am your host, Callisti Mayer, the Golden Apple of Discord. So here we are again, the start of a new season, season 10 of the NATTS League, and yet again I'm going to be covering VGP Division. It's been my home, my reporting home for the last 3 seasons, and the only thing that's different is that everything else is different. We've got new teams, we've got new coaches, we've got a new challenge, and it's going to be really exciting. So without any further ado, let's take a quick look at the teams, the new coaches that are going to be in the VGP Division round 1. And we're going to take a look at the teams. I'm going to give you some insight into those teams, how they've been doing, and what I expect from them this coming season. We're going to take a look at some of the match results. Now, at the time of recording, I know that all of the match day 1 games have been played, but only a few of the match day 2 games have been played. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the teams, to look at the team builds. I'm going to cover match day 1. Next week, I'm going to give you slightly less team build. We'll have already been introduced to the teams. Might give you some insight into skills that were taken from match days 2, 3, and 4, but not going to be anything too deep because I am going to be covering the results from match days 2, 3, and 4. So the week 2 cast is actually going to be week 2 and a half of week 1. In terms of results. Okay, so let's get on with it. So the first team is probably the most prestigious team on the list here. A Nurgle team coached by Storn. Now, the reason why I say this is probably the most prestigious team on the roster is because Storn is the Season 9 champion of the NATTS League. So this is the big bruiser of the division. He's picked Nurgle this season round. Last season he won the championship with Chaos Dwarves. Going for a little bit more of a challenge to start off with. Nurgle team, they're a little bit slower to develop, but once they get up to speed, they are wonderful. So let's take a quick look at the team. We've gone for the Beast of Nurgle. We've gone for 4 Chaos Warriors. We've gone for 1 Pestigore and 4 Rotters. 2 team rerolls. The team has regen, don't need apothecary. He's got 60k in the bank. He lost his first game, I believe. He did, yep, against an Orc team, the High Rock Horde, which we'll take a look at in a second. In terms of SPP placements, we've got a Rotter with MVP. We've got injury SPP on another Rotter. And then we've got a 1 Pestigore with a pass. That's not really where you wanted to be placing the SPP. You'd really want to be placing it on your Chaos Warriors and your Pestigore. But any SPP is good SPP. You can start developing these rotters, but definitely really want to try and focus on getting the SPP on the Chaos Warriors and possibly the Beast of Nurgle. Beast of Nurgle is one of those big guys that does a lot for the team by not doing a lot, and is probably one of the few big guys that I would suggest taking on a team. Can definitely be a key player in the team if you manage him correctly. Moving on, we have the Grudge Bearers, coached by Kord Div. This is a dwarf team, so he's decided to take a little bit of a cheaty route this season. That's cheaty, not cheeky, although it is pretty cheeky too. Dwarves are one of those teams that pretty much everyone hates, and for good reason. They come with so many bloody skills. So we have, I really don't like calling them this, but the linemen, the Longbeards, with their block and their tackle and their thick skull, little tanks these guys are. So we've got the 6 linemen or Longbeards, we've got the 2 Troll Slayers, we've got the 2 Blitzers, we've got the 1 runner. In terms of SPP placements, he's got a touchdown on a Blitzer and on a runner. He's got a Longbeard with a level up. He took guard, which is a great choice. I definitely want to take guard on your Longbeards. And then we've got the rest of the positionals, the Troll Slayers and the other Blitzer, sitting on 2 SPP or 1 SPP for the Blitzer. Definitely wants to try and get as much SPP as possible. Maybe next match level your Blitzer and your runner. And if you're really lucky, level at one of those Troll Slayers. Got the 3 team rerolls, got the 1 Apothecary. Beauty, or one of the beauties of the Dwarf team, is that you can pretty much get everything you want for 1000 SPP. They come with a shit ton of skills. Very, very good team to start a season with. Next on the list we have Roanoke, coached by a new coach, Volpes Inculta. Maybe you can tell me how to pronounce that name on Discord, because I'm probably pronouncing it totally incorrectly. It's a Skaven team. What does it matter if I can pronounce the coach name correctly or not? Skaven, I love Skaven. They're probably my favourite team. Gone for a little bit of an unusual build, so we've gone for the 2 Storm Vermin, which is pretty standard. We've gone for only 3 Gutter Runners. Quite often you will see most Skaven coaches maxing out on the Gutter Runners. They're probably one of the best players of any team in Blood Bowl 2 or in Blood Bowl, along with the War Dancer and the Werewolf. So it's a bit surprising to say only see 3 Gutter Runners. He's gone for a Thrower. Again, another debatable choice. I always go for a Thrower as well, but you do find a lot of Skaven coaches just like to take the 4 Gutter Runners and not take the Thrower. And one of the beauties of the Skaven team is that you can go for all of the positionals you need, field 11 players, have 3 team rerolls and an Apothecary, all for 1000 TV. So, but he hasn't gone quite that route. He's gone close to it. In terms of development, we have 1 Gutter Runner with 3 SPP. We have a Thrower who got a pass and got 1 SPP. Still needs to have, and he got a line match that's out next match, missed next game, with an MVP. In terms of future developments, definitely want to try and focus on getting SPP on your Storm Vermins and your Thrower. Gutter Runners seem to have no problems leveling, so they're going to level without you even really trying. So when and where you can, try and focus on getting these Storm Vermin levels, give them Mighty Blow, and then they're going to start racking in the SPP, and then they're going to become your killer pieces, and then you're going to have another element to your strategy, to your game, rather than just relying solely on the Gutter Runners to do all of the magic. I would definitely suggest not getting more line mats, and focus on getting an apothecary, and then focus on getting that 4th gutter runner. Once you've got those two things, then start focusing on just building up with your line mats. Aim for maybe 14 man team. That way you can take some injuries. Line mats, they basically are there to get injured and get in the way and protect your positionals. If you can get to 4 gutter runners, get that apothecary, get to start building up your line mats and get to 14 man mats, you're going to be in a very healthy position. Okie dokie. Next one, we have the High Rock Horde Orc team, coached by Minimo1. Orc team is a very solid team, great team to start off with. What did he go with? He went for the 4 blitzers, he went for the 4 black orcs, he went for the 2 linemen, he went for the 1 thrower. This is a great team, great starting team, pretty solid choice. I don't really see the Orc team deviating much from this. Some people go for the troll and the goblin, some people go for the thrower, some don't. But the 4 blitzers and the 4 black orcs are pretty much a must have on your orc team. He's got 3 team rerolls, he's got 1 apothecary, he won at least a game, versus the Nurgles, so that was a good result. Moving on, we have the Marvel Heroines, coached by Stelletos, veteran coach who's returning to the league. Gone for the 4 blitzers with Blodge, gone for the 1 thrower with Dodge Pass, 4 linemen with Dodge, and then we have the 2 catchers with Dodge and Catch. One of the virtues of the Amazon team is that everybody comes with Dodge, so even your linemen, which means you can get an entire team full of Blodge on 1 level up, at least, or at most, and still have an incredibly low TV value, so you can start getting inducements, and they're a very strong team to begin with. Twist and Shout, coached by Splinter, another veteran coach and another good coach from NATTS League. Gone Pro Elves this season. We have 1 thrower, we have a lineman up here, not with the rest of them, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 linemen, 2 catchers, 1 blitzer. Bit surprised he's only gone for the 1 blitzer. Might have had 1 that got injured and then had to be fired. That happens quite often to me. We've got 3 team rerolls, we've got no apothecary, we've got 70k in the bank. I would definitely think about getting the apothecary just to protect your positionals. Start saving up for that 2nd blitzer, and then after that start saving up for your full complement of catchers. Catchers can develop into probably one of the best offensive pieces in the game, in my opinion. With that nerves to steal and catch, start giving them dodge, blodge, rodge, and you've got a complete piece right there. Anything else on top of that is gravy. Sidestep, strip ball, you can start sort of developing them for certain roles. Very strong pieces. Blitzers are great because you're only 1 skill up away from Dodge Step or Rodge Step. Both the blitzers and the catchers are very strong pieces on this team. Moving on, we have Flogging a Dead Horse, undead team coached by Lando the Gambler. Yet another veteran coach, good coach. Undead team, very strong team to start off with. He's got the 2 mummies, he's got the 2 whites, he's got the 4 zombies and 3 ghouls. SVP wise, he's got a white with MVP, so he's 1 SVP away from leveling. He got an injury on his mummy. They can be quite slow to level, so that's good for him. And he got a touchdown on one of his ghouls. Only thing I would mention is that for the undead team, they are a very strong team, and your ghouls can be real marquee players, but unlike the rest of the team, they don't have regen, so they start getting injuries and you're screwed because undead don't get an apothecary on roster. They can go for an eagle, but that costs like 100k in inducements. So quite often you'll find that the ghouls are pretty unprotected. They get an injury and then they're done. Definitely wants to develop his mummies, definitely wants to develop his wights into the killer pieces, the ghouls into ball carriers, but focus on sort of defensive skills for them. Maybe have one as a bull hawk, but expect him to be a flash in the pan. Great whilst you have him, but as soon as he will get injured, and when that happens, he's probably going to get fired. But great team, for sure it's going to do well this season. We have another dwarf team, Beards of Myth, coached by Floopy Chop. I just blathered on about how effective and wonderful the dwarf team was, and how much I hate them. So I'm not going to go into as much detail here. Just to let you know, he's gone for the 2 troll slayers, he's gone for 2 runners, which is different from Kord's team, 2 blitzers, and 3, 4, 5 longbeards. The 2 runners tactic build can pay off for you, but you do need to get levels on them pretty quick, just to get them block and make them as hard and resolute as the rest of the team. Gone for the 3 team rerolls, hasn't got an apothecary, doesn't really need one right now, as long as he's focusing on getting these 2 runners with level ups. Then we have a few AI teams. The Brickstown Varsity is an Amazon team coached by Vort, yet another veteran coach. He's gone for Amazons, which is a good choice. We have the 4 blitzers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slime women, and then we have a catcher and a thrower, 3 team rerolls, 1 apothecary. Exceedingly low TV value for what you're getting right now. As I said, the Amazon team, they all come with dodge. You get blitzers with blodge right out of the gate. You can get a level on the rest of these slime women, and then you'll have a team full of blodge, and still a really low TV value for what you have. The downside of the Amazon team is that their stat line across the board, every player on the team has the same stat line, and it's decidedly average. It's 6337. Not that fast, not that strong, not that agile, and definitely not that well armoured. So they come with dodge, that's a big bonus. They can have these 4 positional pieces which come with out of the box with blodge, but don't expect to do 1-turn touchdowns with them, don't expect to be doing amazing things with them, other than just frustrating your opponent because everyone comes with dodge. Okay, and then the last team is the Knights Panther Chargers, human team. We have the Ogre, we have 3 blitzers, which is a bit strange. Maybe he had another blitzer that got injured and fired or died. It's very rare you see a human team without the 4 blitzers. It's probably one of the prerequisites for a human team is definitely going the 4 blitzers. And the Ogre, and then just sort of linemen and throwers and catchers where you can. And I would be very surprised if he started the season with just 3 blitzers. He probably had 4 and then fired 1. If he didn't have 4 and he actually started with 3, that's a bit of a surprise, and I think he's doing himself a disservice. But anyway, the coach is Potion Salad. He's got 3 team rerolls. He has 1 apothecary, team value of 980. So yeah, he probably did have an injury. And we have one of the blitzers with guard, which is great. You want to get guard on all your blitzers to begin with. It's one of the key points for making a human team sort of truly competitive. 80k in the bank. Played 2 games, so he does have 2 games worth of SVP under his belt, but just the 1 level. Both games were a draw, so he's off to an okay start, but definitely wants to focus on building the team in this round 1. I don't think he'll have a problem getting through to the round 2. Human team is quite a good team. I'm sure Potion Salad is a good coach. So at this point, round 1, I would definitely advise focusing on team development for this team, so that you can really sort of be competitive in round 2. Even if it means not always getting the win, getting a few draws along the way, as long as you get into round 2 and you've got a good, strong team. And this is advice for all teams in the division. That's probably the better route than sort of being the guts and glory top of the division. If you can do both, you can develop your team well and be the top of the division, then great. But given the choice, for me personally, I'd rather develop the team over being more highly placed to going into round 2. Okay, so quick rundown of the match day 1 results. So we had Knights of Panther Chargers in a 1-1 draw with Flogging a Dead Horse. We had Twist and Shout, the Pro Elf team, in a 1-1 draw with Bids of Myth. We had the Marvel Heroines, the Amazon team, going down to the Brickstown Varsity. That was an Amazon off. That was a 1-0 win for Brickstown Varsity. We had the High Rock Horde, the Orc team, beating the current champions, Storm's Nurgle team, the Nurgles. And then we had a 1-1 draw for Roanoke versus Kord's the Grudge Bearers, the Dwarf team. So that's Skaven versus Dwarf. Looking ahead to week 2, we have one match already played, the Kord's Dwarf team versus the Human Knights Panther Chargers, coached by Potion Salad. Other matches on the books for week 2, we have the Skaven Roanoke versus the Nerdgles. We have the Orc team, the High Rock Horde, versus the Amazon team, the Brickstown Varsity. The Marvel Heroines, the Amazon team, versus the Birds of Myth, another Dwarf team. And then we have Twist and Shout, the Pro Elf team, versus Flogging a Dead Horse, the Undead team. Should be some interesting games there. Okay, so that's all from me for this week. Next week, as I said, it's going to be a little bit more of looking at the team development, but a whole lot more of looking at and analysing the matches. I'm going to give you some match stats, give you predictions for the week after, and covering weeks match day 2, 3 and 4, hopefully, if we have time. But that's all from me for this week. And remember, there's scoring, and then there's Callisti scoring.
Yes, sir, you are the golden apple of Discord. Cannot argue that. And I don't know why Kord decided to go with dwarves. If he wanted to lose, he might as well just played ogres. He might have actually had some fun losing. Alright, so, with that being said, time to go to our new caster, the MCC, the Panda!
Good morning, ghouls and goblins. Panda's here. How's it going, guys? So we've been extended a contract for the BBPN. For this contract, Cadet has decided to have yours truly, the wonderful Panda Man, Panda in charge, and glorious leader of the Panda Cartel, cover the MCC division. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at some teams, see what's going on. We've had a couple match days played, and when we get to the end, I'll give you a little prediction, see what's going to happen. So we have the Scandians, I guess, Norse. See double Ulfs, Yeti, looks pretty standard. Let's see what they got going on. Alright. 2 rerolls, it's fine, it's Norse, they got a shit ton of block. Picked up the Apo first. So that's good. We got Berserker. So first thing that pops out after 2 match days is he's already got a lineman almost to level 3. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but the tackle pickup I feel is right. Especially early on. Tackle lineman, he's great. I'd like to see more SPP on the Ulfs, as they're going to be doing most of the work on the team. But is what it is. I don't like the runner in single berserker, but I think, if I remember right, that's the way you have to do it if you pick up the Yeti. So we'll see where he goes from here. Team looks pretty good, and I definitely like the tackle pickup first. We got Scar, the one of the other boys in the BPN doing coverage. Let's see what he's got going on with his Bretts. Oh, look at that. Picked up strip ball. Strip ball and dodge on the blitzer. He's got an injury on Mr. Doc Slaughter. I'm going to venture a guess and say it's a niggle. Yes, it is. Poor guy. Sitting at 2 rerolls. I don't like it for Bretts, but he does have all 4 blitzers and an APO, so I think he's doing alright. The strip ball on the wrestle blocker, I assume, is going to be his ball hawk. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not much else is going on with them. The glorious Captain Zectorman playing the Kimry Menace. 4 TGs. Double throw raw. Interesting. Now here's an interesting build. He picked up the 3rd reroll instead of going to 2 blitzer build. So he's got 2 boys who pick up the ball and throw, but that's not really what they're known for. I personally, would have picked up the other block. He's already running a strength advantage with the TGs. The block definitely would have saved a reroll. I don't see the need for 2 sure hands players right at the beginning. No levels to speak of, but he's doing good. It's an interesting build for sure, so we'll be happy to see what he does with it later on. Bleeding Gums. Newer coach. I haven't really played him before. I think there's going to be quite a few of those this season. Rocking the lizards, and it puts the lotion on his skin. Nice. No levels to speak of. Saurus Ada MVP. Nice. 2 rerolls. Alright. So here's a point of contention. There's a 2 reroll build where you start with the Crocs, and the 3 reroll build where you don't. 2 rerolls on a no-skill team is pretty risky. As you can see, he's got no fan factor. I'm not sure if he hasn't won a game, but let's take a look and see what's going on. Last day. So it looks like they're still on match day 1 or 2. I'm not sure how this works, but yeah, it looks like he ate a loss there. But yeah, so the debate, let me know. Or let Cadet know, or the BBPN network. Do you favor the 2 rerolls with the Crocs? Which I personally do, even though it's harder to start with. You want the MVPs landing on the stronger players and not the skinks, as they can pretty much score at will. McMackey, King of the Rings, with some Chorf. I hate Chorfs. I'm tired of Chorfs. Please, no more Chorfs in the Nats. Oh, look at that. Minus MN on a blocker. He's not long for this world. At least he didn't eat an MVP. Pretty standard. He's got 3 rerolls. Double Centaurs with block as the first level. I don't know. I get block on 1. Usually you want to build 1 as like sort of a hard blocker, and then you'd be using the other one as a ball carrier maybe. I'm not 100% sure what he's got going on. I like this. I do like the shorter. He picked up the extra hob, and he has the and he does not have an APO. So this can go pretty south pretty quick, especially if these boys get picked off. He's not going to have any real ball handling skills since he didn't build a Bull Centaur as a ball carrier. But he's got 2 fan factors, so they played the second game of their division, and he's looking alright so far for it, apart from the minus movement blocker. But he'll pick up a loner Goblin, which is a much worse of a trade-off, but he can use him for fouling. Oh no, he won't pick up the loner, I'm sorry. He's got 12 players, so he's pretty much stuck with what he's got. Alright. Hikaru with the Delphs. Picked up the Witch from the start. Not my favorite start, but it's definitely effective. Picked up Kick on the lineman already. That's good. You know, Agi 4 loves their business. Block on the Witch is needed. And dodge on the Blitzer. So he's he's still at 2 rerolls. But he did pick up dodge and block and kick. So I think the 2 rerolls is fine. I much prefer to start with a much lamer 4 blitzer build and pick up the Witch later on down the road, but you know how that goes. The AV7 right off the bat, but it's got Blodge already, and it's only match day 2 or 3 for this specific team. So yeah, he's looking alright. Oh, my boy Tassipoo with the pink axes. Oh, he went with the troll build, it looks like. So he's got the best player in the game, the Orc Thrower. 4 Black Orcs, all 4 Blitzers. Oh, sorry, I'm very tired this morning. He's got the Troll and the Goblin for that wonderful throw teammate or possibly eat teammate combo. He's sitting on 2 rerolls, which I think is fine. He went with a build that has skills already. So the Goblin's got dodge, Blitzers all have block, and obviously the thrower has sure hands. So that should be rocking out. Looks like he's had some issues scoring. He's only got 1 MVP and no other SPP. So we'll see how he develops further on down the season. I know Orcs will come out of the blue and knock you out, especially with that AV9. We have a second Orc team, Green Eggs and Flan, with our boy Resin. He's got the Tiger Stripes. Yep, I already approve. And he went with the more standard build, which is my favorite. The 3 rerolls, 4 Blitzers, and 2 linemen. So I like to use the lineman for foul duty. Obviously, he has no SPP at all. I'm not sure if he filled in for somebody or what's going on, or if he just didn't make his game. So, not much to talk about there. Johnny Bravo coming in with the Chorfs. This is a seriously bashy division with all these. Oh, and he took the Minnow right off the bat. So we got the Minnow, 4 blockers, 2 bowls, and 1 reroll. Guy's got guts. I'll give him that. I do not approve of the stock team names. It's breaking my heart here. Makes me very sad. But he's got the 1 reroll. Obviously, he's going to want to pick that up, but it's 140k to start since he didn't pick him up at the beginning. This can go either very well or very badly. The blockers have the skills. That 1 precious team reroll is going to be tough. So let's see what Johnny does with it. That one guy, I forget his name, Goat Boy. He did something last season. I forget what it was, but he did some things. He's kind of successful. He's playing the Papa Nurgle. Double Presties. So let's see. Man, this guy got maimed. He had a death. Got a minus AV Rodder, minus MA Rodder, which is to be expected if they got beat up on. This is interesting. The first skill on a warrior is Claw. So it looks like he's reading the division here. With how bash heavy it is, I definitely would have liked to see block and then Claw, because he only got 2 rerolls. But if this Claw starts proccing, teams that he's going to have a much harder matchup against that can outbash him right now, like the Orcs or the Chorfs, this Claw can do a fair bit of work. He's got the Beast. No skill up, but the beast kind of just stands there and hangs on to people. I don't know if I would have gone the beast route in this heavy of a bash division. But it is what it is. He's not going to be completely useless, but he's going to need some help. He can, instead of being able to tie up 3 or 4 players with an assist, he's probably going to be stuck on 2, or possibly even 1. So he doesn't have the rotters to tie people up. I do like the 2 Prestigors coming in. They're pretty much important, or very important for the team. Horns and then free mutation access gets them into the proper blitzer category. So let's see what Goat does with that. And I think we have one other team on the second page. That's Resin. Again? Hold on. Yeah, Resin's got 2 teams, so he probably has a filler team here. With the Orcs, someone probably didn't accept a ticket, or they're looking for a replacement. Now this, if you didn't know, I played Undead a couple seasons ago, went to the playoffs, it was alright. I didn't do very well, but it is what it is. So we have double mummies, double whites, double ghouls, 3 ghouls. Alright, so it's a pretty standard build. Took block on both the ghouls for survivability. I would have liked to see one with wrestle and start building him as a ball hawk, so wrestle strip ball. But yeah, it is what it is. The interesting point on this guy, though, is this right here, this double skeleton. Personally, this has been a pretty fair amount of argument. The AV7, even though they have thick skull, if they're getting punched, they're probably getting stunned. So even though they have one more movement than the zombies, I'd prefer 1 or even no skeletons over zombies, as they cost the same, and the zombies do a much better job of just getting punched in the face at the AV8 and tying up players, and then letting your ghouls, whites, and mummies go about their business and do their work. So let's see how this plays out for him. I think he'll be doing, I think we'll see more of him. He's pretty solid coach. So, alright, and that looks like it's the team schedule. So let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard for the season thus far. We've got Mackie coming in first with the Chorfs. Brian with the 1-1. Yeah, so it looks like there's a few games that haven't been played yet. Goat Boy seems to be struggling with the Nurgle down in 10th, but they can definitely bring it back. So it's apparently it's to be expected. I mean, the Dark Elves might be a little higher up, or a little. I mean, they're in 3rd, but win and a draw. They haven't had a loss yet. Zector picked up his win. Tasrin had a rough game against the other Chorfs, I believe. So, yeah, looks like we're all right. See, they're shaping up as expected. I don't see any outliers, and any one of these coaches that's in here, I definitely feel can be in the top to make it over to round 2. So, that's pretty much it as far as MCC goes. So, let's take a minute to talk about ogres. Commissar Yerrick made a excellent plea for me to play ogres this season, and it's been interesting. I've learned a lot about reroll management and not spamming that reroll button the second you roll a 1. We did have some issues. If you haven't watched Discum's videos of the ogres, we have matching uniforms with Yerrick's ogres, which was totally unintended, and I feel like the lady who's worn the same dress to the ball with her best friend. We're still looking at some patches out in December. Fingers crossed. Focus, Cyanide, whatever. Let's get it handled. I know we've already talked about the Chaos-themed expansion. That is more than likely coming our way sometime next year. And once that happens, you'll probably see Panda switching over to Khorne or Slann. assuming they make it through all their legal troubles with people for ethical treatment of animals. That's a whole other can of worms we're not going to get into this week. So, for the time being, here's Panda. And we're signing out. And remember, pandas never lose. We only win less.
Panda out of the corner covering the MCC. Man, stepping up big time. Never thought I'd see the day. Alright, nice job Panda. I enjoyed that. I look forward to see what comes out of the MCC. Alright, so before we skip over to Ace in the Kord division, let's hear from our Games of the Week caster, Scum.
We're brave, and you suck. We're brave, and you suck. We're brave, and you suck. You see there's us, and then there's you suck. We're really brave. In contrast, you really suck. Okay, full disclosure, we're not that great, but nevertheless, you suck.
Well, good day, me fellow Garbos, and what an adventure that was for Season 9 Finals. Go take a look at a calendar. Later on, we'll probably put up a full other replay broadcast for it there. As for Season 10, well done, lads. You're there, you've survived, and guess what? Here we are, already first 2 weeks posted up. Go take a look, a like, a comment, an insult. Just pick what you want, and Nuffle, bless your dice.
Thanks to Scum. Go watch them vids. They're good ones. Now Ace in the Kord division.
Welcome everyone to BBPN, and we are covering Season 10 of the NATTS Kord division, and we've already gotten off and running to a fast start, already up to day 3. Let's go ahead and see what teams we have, our leaderboard, past results, and see if any teams have really got anything worth a damn. So we have Superfed playing the Chaos Dwarves once again, Vassar Symphony at 880. And yes, you see that right, he has had a Bull Centaur die, other one getting up to block, and a Chaos Dwarf blocker taking Mighty Blow over guard first. And it looks like a Hobgoblin has died as well. So he's already down a Bull Centaur, down a Hobgoblin. Though he is only 30k away from getting a replacement. But man, that's just a brutal start through 2 games. Only the dead walk with Dragon 250. Undead team here. Taking in some skellies instead of zombies. Wow, a lot more skellies than zombies. 2 ghouls, 2 whites, and 2 mummies, 3 rerolls, taking 2 coach assistants and a cheerleader. I don't know. The skeletons do have 1 more movement, but they have that lower armor, but they do get thick skull. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between zombies and skeletons on undead. I prefer the zombies AV8, but that 1 extra movement can prove extremely useful, so we'll see how he does throughout the season. Scum, the man himself, playing the Kislev. He has 3 hurt, 1 with an AV decrease. Just a miss next game. And a miss next game. So an AV decrease, and the rest are still doing alright. You went with a Blitzer, 2 catchers, a Butch Lineman, and a Bear. 3 rerolls, 2 fan factors. So far, doesn't seem to be doing them too well, but we'll see if he can develop them and turn them into something dangerous. Then we have John B. 3488 with the Chaos. And he has a Chaos Warrior up to block. He has a Beastman up to Mighty Blow. And he has a Beastman missing a game. Is it a niggle? No, just a gouge die. So, already starting off kind of strong, getting them Chaos Warriors up there. If you can get these guys going in skills, he is going to be a dangerous team. Then we have Yarick, the man himself, playing, yes, once again, you are seeing this right, once again, he is playing Ogres. 2 already leveled, 1 to Brick Tackle, 1 with Strong Arm, so I can only imagine what he's doing. And yes, you're seeing that right, an AG4 Noblar. Keep him alive, and he is going to be a valuable asset to this team, especially on those landings. The Adeptus, alright? Adeptus Astartes. So, a bit of a team to face my team, being the Horus Heretics. We have the Space Marines themselves with Cadet Tech playing his bread and butter, humans. He does have a thrower with accurate. He has had a blitzer with a minus AV, a blitzer that has been killed, but he has gotten a blitzer up to Mighty Blow, a catcher with Blodge, and 2 other linemen that are gone. So he's been these Space Marines, man. They've gone into the battle, and they've been just like Space Marines, taking some scars. The Norsican Wolves by Warecaster, the Norse. So far through 2 games, he does have a runner with Blodge. He does have a Berserker with Mighty Blow. He does have a Yeti, 2 Wolf Runners, 2 Berserkers. It looks like he's lost the lineman, though. And the rest are doing alright. 3 rerolls, 4 fan factor. He does have the Apothecary. AV7, this team is either going to be skilling up, making waves, or they're just going to be losing people left and right with that AV7. Guess we'll see. Then we have the Orcs, the Vipers NATTS Gang by Luke. So, standard Orc stuff, 4 black, 4 blitzers, 4 linemen. We have the Underworlds here, with Skaven Blitzer leveling up. Probably going to take Claw, Mighty Blow, something along those lines. Skaven Thrower already leveled up with Leader of all things. Bunch of Goblins, a few of them right there, almost ready to level. The Troll 1 cast from leveling. Underworld, I would love to see one go far, develop these guys up, and I would love to see what Underworld can do in our league. So that is the teams. So let's go ahead and look into day 1. We have the Castaway Rascals, Underworld getting a 1-1 win or draw over the Norse. The Adeptus Humans, the Space Marines getting a 2-0 win over the Orcs. How fitting that the Space Marines win that. Orcs losing 1-0 to the Elves. A 0-0 draw between the Chaos Dwarves and the Chaos. With a death in there, that's probably where he lost his Bull Centaur. And the Undead taking a 1-0 win over the Kislev. Day 2. Undead 2-0 to the Underworld team. 3-0 Chaos Dwarves just dominate the Kislev. 1-1 draw over the Chaos and Elves. Orcs lose 2-1 to the Orcs. And the Norse just run rampant on the humans and take the 1-2 win. So far 2 games have been played. 2-2 draw between the Underworld and the humans. The humans once again take another death, sadly. And the 1-1 draw between the Orcs, or the Ogres, and the Norse. So we're going to look at a leaderboard here. Underworld with a 1-2-0 record so far, tied with the Norse for first place. Chaos Dwarves and Humans coming in at 3 and 4. Elven Union coming in at 5. Orcs at 6. Undead at 7. And then Chaos Ogre Kislev at 8, 9, and 10. The Scum, come on, man. You've played in the majors. I want to see you get up there. I want to see you in a final. So pick up your bootstraps and start getting them wins. But until then, as it stands right now, everything below 7 is out. But granted, they still have 7 games left, roughly, depending on who has played. 6 if they've already played, to get back up there. And this is, no one's a clear winner yet. But we shall keep coverage on this and see where it leads on to. And until next time, I shall see you guys on BBPN.
Good job, Ace. And yeah, there may not be anything left of the Adeptus Astartes to play the Horus Heretics when the Adeptus Astartes go to round 2, if the Adeptus Astartes go to round 2. Alright. Now that I've made fun of him with that, let's go ahead and move on to our very last division, the CDT, covered by Scar.
Seriously, Nuffle, it can't work like this. Would you shut up? Cadet just had to send Undead to replace my team, didn't he? I mean, I can't even eat these things! And now that I think about it, that's probably the point. Yes, brains. Alright, coaches. Just give me a second to deal with this. Ah, that's much better. Hello all you ghouls and goblins out there, and welcome to Season 10! I am Scar, your resident Dark Knight of the Void here, to cover the CDT this time around. Though it might need to be changed to the Pain Division, considering how it's going so far. We got all new teams, and within the first 2 rounds we have had a total of 9 deaths throughout this division. And that's not even counting the injuries. So, let's take a look at what's left of these guys, and see how the survivors are developing. At the top of the list, we have the Horus Heretics, a Chaos team coached by Ace Pilot. Let's see how they're developing. It looks like they went with 4 Chaos Warriors and 7 Beastmen for their starting lineup. They also have the all-important Apothecary and 3 team rerolls. The only thing they're missing so far is the big guy, which I'm assuming is going to be a future purchase. No level ups just yet, but there are 2 Beastmen and a Chaos Warrior on the brink of their first ones. And that's good. The sooner they can get out of their starting roster problem that the Chaos team have, the better. Next on the list, we have Not Dead Just Yet, a Chimeri team coached by Finhale. Let's see how they're doing. Starting off with 4 of the all-important Tomb Guardians, 2 Blitzras, the greatly important Throa, and a bunch of skeletons to fill out the rest of the roster, with 1 extra. Very nice. He also has 2 team rerolls. Not a lot, but I do see the Throa's first level up is in fact Leader. So that should compensate for that as long as they don't lose their Throa. They also have a Skeleton that has learned how to block, and a Blitzrot with Mighty Blow. This seems like a very good start for this team, but it's a Chimeri team, so I'm not exactly keeping my hopes up for them. Still should be fun to watch though. Next up we have the Gibbleton Tiger Rats, a Skaven team coached by Pumpkin Escobar. Let's take a look-see, and we can see where some of the deaths came from. We have 2 Storm Vermin, 1 Thrower, 4 Linemen, and 3 Gutter Runners. I believe when they started they had 4 Gutter Runners, so they're not doing too well. With 1 Apothecary and 3 team rerolls, but no level ups, and only 1 Storm Vermin being on the brink of a level up. This isn't a great start. Then again, only 2 days have gone through so far. They might end up winning. But if they keep bashing like this, there's not going to be a team left to go to the second round. Next on the list we have Robble Noble's Trouble, that's kinda hard to say, a High Elf team coached by Defo97. I'm just gonna call him Defo. With 1 Catcher, 2 Blitzers, and a bunch of Linemen. He also has a all-important Apothecary for that elf squishiness, and 3 team rerolls, which is a little surprising for a High Elf team. In terms of level ups, 1 lineman has opted for Wrestle, another one for that all-important Kick. The catcher does seem to have gotten hurt, but it's only a miss next game. He should be fine. It does take a while for high elf teams to sort of gain momentum, but this seems to be a pretty good start so far. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Next up, we have the Mean Green Dream, a orc team coached by Laser Dentist. I didn't know the Nats had a dentist. Let's see how they're doing. We have 4 black orcs, 4 blitzers, and 3 linemen to fill out the rest of this, with an apothecary and 3 rerolls. It also seems like there's only been 1 level up so far, with the blitzer deciding to get Mighty Blow. but there also is a Black Orc on the brink of their first level up, which is very lucky for Laser. So far, nothing too exceptional here. It's all standard Orc, and their tactic clearly is punch the opponent until they stop moving, then worry about the ball. Hopefully they do something more interesting than standard Orc plays. Next up we have Flying Floofs, a high elf team coached by Placebo. Alright then. With 1 thrower, 2 catchers, a bunch of linemen, and 2 blitzers. Nothing exceptional here, but it does seem like they've had quite a few casualties. Either that or Placebo likes to oddly place his teammates. With 1 apothecary and 3 team rerolls, always important, especially when you have such low armor. In terms of level ups, we have 1 blitzer with tackle, and 1 catcher that has learned block. Very interesting start. If only his players would stop dying, that would be great. Next on the list is a team I am paying attention to. Plan Z didn't work. An ogre team coached by Angry Panda. Let's take a look-see. We have 4 ogres and a bunch of noblars, with no apothecary and 2 team rerolls. I believe there used to be 5 ogres here, but you lost 1. In terms of level ups, well, 1 Noblar is close, and Plan Beta seems to be only 1 murder away from his first level up, to get Break Tackle, I believe. The loss of an ogre does spell doom more or less for this team, but I'm holding out hope. Next up we have Monster Apocalypse, a necromantic team coached by Dr. Helix. Let's take a look-see. We have 2 flesh golems, 2 wights, 2 werewolves, only 1 ghoul, and a bunch of zombies. They also have 3 team rerolls and 3 fan factor, which is a lot for this early in the season. In terms of level ups, we have 1 zombie that still has a brain and knows how to guard, and 1 zombie that has 2 working legs and has learned kick. We also have a werewolf with 4 strength, making him incredibly dangerous, 1 flesh golem with block, and 1 wight sitting on a level up. I wonder what that's going to be. But the only ghoul in this team has a niggling injury, making him very tempting bash target. But I guess with 2 werewolves, you can kind of get away with it. Next up, we have a team no one was expecting, the Spanish Inquisition, a Bretonnian team coached by Erix. Let's take a look-see. We have 4 blitzers, 3 blockers, and several linemen to fill up the rest, with 1 apothecary and 3 team rerolls. In terms of level ups, there doesn't seem to be anything here. Only 2 linemen on the brink, and that's actually very bad development for a Bretonnian team. In terms of injuries, it looks like 1 lineman is out for the next game, and 2 blitzers with a -2 armor value, which is absolutely devastating. For a Bretonnian team, especially early on, keeping your blitzers alive and healthy is paramount. So I'm honestly not sure how far this team is going to go. Finally, we have Agents of DWARF, a dwarf team coached by Big Rin 42. Let's take a look-see. They have 2 runners, 2 blitzers, 1 troll slayer, and a bunch of longbeards, with 1 apothecary and 3 team rerolls. In terms of level ups, the only one that has managed to so far is this runner getting block, always important. And we also have 2 longbeards on the brink of getting their important guard. But when it comes to injuries, we have 1 runner that was unlucky enough to get +1 to all future injuries, and a longbeard with another +1 to all injuries. For a dwarf team, these guys seem to have taken a beating so far, losing a Troll Slayer and taking 2 injuries. This early in the league, Nuffle really hasn't been kind to these guys. Okay, because I feel like I've spent enough time already, let's go through these quickly. First off, we have Agents of Dwarf tying with the Spanish Inquisition 1-1. We have Monster Apocalypse winning against the Horus Heretics 1-0. We have Not Dead Just Yet winning against Plan Z, didn't work, 1-0. We have Flying Floose tying with Gilbertson Tiger Rats 1-1. And we have the Mean Green Dream tying with Robble Noble's Trouble 0-0. For day 2, we have the Horus Heretics winning against the Agents of Dwarf 2-1. We have Not Dead Just Yet expecting the Spanish Inquisition and winning 2-0. We have Monster Apocalypse completely destroying Gilbertson's Tiger Rats 2-0. We have Plan Z didn't work tying with Robble Noble's Trouble 0-0. And we have the Flying Floose tying with the Mean Green Dream. I used up all my kill footage in that montage. Oh well, this division is turning out to be quite interesting. I can't wait to see how these teams continue to develop and die. But until then, it's back to you, Cadet.
What? You got zombies? I thought I ordered thralls. Man, darn, temp services just aren't what they used to be. Well, at least you're making do. Good job, Scar. And I figured you would enjoy being the one of the deadliest divisions. It's hard to tell because everybody's dying these days. Alright, that's it for BBPN this week. Thank you for everybody on the staff for jumping back on board for another season of BBPN. Obviously, it's impossible without them. Alright? And for everybody watching, be sure to go check out the Scum's Game of the Weeks. He's got some good ones out there right now. Alright, well, until next week, this is Cadet Tank saying, I win some, I lose some, but never bet against me.